Hello and welcome to Car Talk. I am Shantanu Lag, your host, and today we are spending time with a very interesting car. As you can see here, the Tata Altroz. Now, you may say that this doesn't look any different from the all other Altroz on the road, except for the new ocean blue color. That's right, it gets a new color, but what has really changed here in this new Altroz is under this hood and inside the cabin. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is India's most affordable dual clutch transmission. How does it drive? How it behaves on the road? Well, stay tuned and we will explore everything that you want to know about the new Tata Altroz DCA. Now, Tata launched the Altroz almost 2 years ago and the products keep looking the same even now. And that's because Tata likes to keep the products looking the same for a longer amount of time compared to the competitors. Now let's talk about the only update that the Tata Altroz DCA gets, the dual clutch transmission. Tata claims it to be the one of the most advanced transmissions available in the Indian market. It is also the only transmissions to get a planetary gear system, which reduces the number of moving parts. It translates into less wear and tear in the transmission and a longer life. Apart from that, Tata has also used a very unique, a very advanced cooling system in this transmission. So there are sensors in the transmission which keeps checking the heat in the transmission. If it raises, it releases fresh oil which reduces the temperature. Now this will keep the Tata Altroz DCA very cool running, especially in the slow crawling traffic that we get to see every day in the big cities of India. What does all that translate into? Well, we will take a drive and we will tell you more about it. So let's go. Now we are starting with a drive of the new Tata Altroz DCA. It only comes with a 1.2 litre natural aspirated engine that generates a maximum power of 83 PS and 113 Nm of peak torque. Now that much amount of power and torque doesn't go very well with the DC transmission, which is generally of a very sporty nature. You would want more power to push it on the roads. Apart from that, the power from the engine, the naturally aspirated engine, is quite sufficient when you're driving the car inside the city limits and your day-to-day drives to go from point A to point B. However, if you are going on the highways on a fast expressway which has speed limits of 100 kilometers per hour, you might feel it little restrictive to overtake other cars, and that's because whenever you are pushing this pedal, it takes a few seconds to jump from one gear to another and power up the engine. Now that's because the Tata Altroz, the engine of the Tata Altroz, it is not as punchy in the lower revs as the diesel or even the I-Turbo. Apart from that, Tata has removed the eco button from here. It has now replaced with a lock and lock button, and that's basically because it now gets a DCA. You do not need the fuel economy. During our short drive of 40 kilometers, we have been driving around this car for quite a while now. We have been shooting with this car. So during this drive, the display is currently showing 10.7 kmpl. The AC has been on. It's quite hot outside. So yeah, 10.7 is what we are getting right now, but I think if you drive it more sedately on your long commutes, you will get around 14 or 15 kmpl, which is quite good for an automatic. Now the transmission shift quality, it's very smooth. You don't get to know the upshifts and the downshift kicks at all. So even at the slow moving traffic, it does a job very well. Now we have not been facing a very trafficy situation right now. However, Tata claims that this transmission runs cool, and we would want to believe that. Now again, it's a 3-cylinder engine, so whenever you are revving and wanting to overtake the other vehicles on the road, you're gonna hear this humming sound quite well inside the cabin. It filters in quite good, and some people may not like it. Some people may feel pumped up listening to this high rev sounds, but I think this is not the most refined engine in this segment. However, since it is very cheap to buy, it gives access to a lot of people to buy the more advanced DC transmission in comparison to the AMTs of this world. Now Tata Altroz has been always very planted on the roads because of its weight, and the same feeling comes here as well. It is India's safest hatchback, and you do feel like it when you're driving it on the roads. The car remains planted, the steering is not very precise, but it will do the job. Now, one thing that I forgot to mention is the DCA transmission also gets a manual mode, so you can, whenever you are feeling pumped up and want to drive it sportily around the city, you can just shift it and it shifts to the manual mode, and you can just put it up or down to change the gear, and it will do it smoothly without making any noise. However, one thing that we miss from this display is the gear positioning in the auto mode. So the DCA gear, it gets 6 gears in total. However, in the drive mode, it doesn't show which gear you are engaged in while driving the car. Now, there are a few things missing from the car as well. Since this is a top-end XZ Plus variant, it doesn't get the automatic auto-dimming IRVM. It doesn't get the paddle shifters, but Tata says that it will increase the cost again. So yeah, we can keep those things in mind and just the Altroz and other parameters. Overall, the Altroz feels very good. It will do the job very well inside the city limits. As I said before, you can face few challenges when you take it on the highways. Now, coming to the end of the review, I must say that Tata has brought a very value for money product in the Indian market. The closest competition, the i20 DCT, it costs more than 2 lakh rupees compared to the base variant of the Altroz. However, Tata has to sacrifice to make it value for money. What is that? The Tata Altroz DCA may feel underpowered under certain circumstances. Necessarily, it might not be inside the city limits. The more powerful 1.2-litre turbocharged engine, which is available with the iTurbo models, is not available with the DCA because that was going to make the car much more expensive than it is. However, we might see the Altroz Turbo DCA and even the Diesel DCA in the future coming months in the Indian market if the response is good enough from this model. What do you think about the all-new Tata Altroz DCA? Do let us know in the comment section below, and also make sure to subscribe to the Car Talk channel. For us, we think that the Altroz DCA will only increase the number of sales in the Tata showrooms in the coming months.